Last month I hit a huge wall and dealt, and maybe I'm still dealing with a huge case of burnout. And so in today's video, I just wanted to have an honest conversation with you guys and let you know what I am doing to address it. All right, so welcome to soccer practice. I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for my son Connor to get done. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jen. I am a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids and I love to post videos here on YouTube, although one thing that I have not been doing as much of recently, which you probably have noticed, is that I have not been posting as many videos. And the reason for that is just shifting priorities, and I have really been struggling to keep up in life. And I think all of the pressures that modern working parents and especially working moms have is just too much to take sometimes, right? Even if you have the ideal situation, even if you have a partner that shares in the workload equally, it is still very challenging to try and maintain all of the proverbial plates spinning in the air, is what I like to call it, or the balls up in the air, juggling multiple, schedules and responsibilities and just all the things that come along with modern life. It just gets to be too much to handle sometimes. I get asked a lot what I do for work, what my profession is. So just briefly, I do have a background in nursing. I've been a nurse for 17 years. I have worked many different roles. I actually worked in the hospital as a nurse for 14 years, and then I left for this current job that I'm in, where I'm in more of a consulting role. So I function as a healthcare consultant, and I get to travel around to different areas and different hospitals, and it's honestly my dream job. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love the job that I do. I love that I get to have a wider impact. I love my coworkers. I just love my job. And so if that's what you're wondering, that is what I do for my day job. Our whole team works from home, but we do travel, like I said, quite frequently when we do consultations face-to-face, either on site, at a facility, at a hospital. All right, I want to take a quick break to let you guys know that today's video is sponsored by Warby Parker, because life is complicated enough. Why should we make buying glasses any more complicated than it needs to be? I've been working with Warby Parker for such a long time here on my YouTube channel, and I consider myself very lucky to be able to do so because I personally have many pairs of their glasses. In fact, I'm going to share some of them with you today. And since I have personally used their services so much, it is very easy for me to recommend them to you guys. If you're not familiar with Warby Parker, they offer everything you need for happier eyes, including eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams. And you can shop with them online or in store. The best part is that their glasses start at just $95, including prescription lenses. And if you have ever tried to purchase glasses at the eye doctor, you know that there is a huge sticker shock with that. So $95 is a fantastic price. So the glasses that I was wearing in those clips that you guys just saw were these. These are the Hues, and I have worn these a lot. They look really cute with a sweater, but the most recent pair that I got were these that I have on now, and these are the Ava. I really like them because of the gold frames. I feel like I wear gold earrings a lot, so I feel like they match really well. And then I also like the navy detail. I don't know, I just feel like they have like a nice old-fashioned shape to them. But I wanted to show you guys some of the ones that I got in my home try-on. These are the Jillian. Another thing I really like about Warby Parker is they have wide width glasses. I have like a very large head. I have no idea why. Thanks, mom and dad, I guess. And I like that they offer different widths so you can kind of try them all out. But I like these because they're a little bit subtle and a little bit vintage. I don't know. Another pair I really like is the Felix. These are very similar to the clear ones that I have called the Haskell. The only reason I like these a little bit better is because they have the colored stems on them, and I like the shape of the frames a little bit better. But I need more glasses. Like, I need another hole in my head. But I always think like glasses are a fashion accessory, just like earrings. I wear them all the time, and I do wear contacts too, but the majority of the time I do wear glasses. These I think are my favorite out of the bunch. These are the Callum, and it's like a forest green color. I don't know, they're super comfortable. I like these a lot. They kind of remind me actually of these I have, which are black. These are the Hugo, and they're black with gold on them. But anyway, if you guys want to try Warby Parker, like I said, I highly recommend them. You can go to the link in my description box below. It's warbyparker.com/Jen, and you can get your free home try on. There's no obligation to buy, and shipping is free both ways. So don't forget, if you want to try your 5 pairs of glasses at home for free, you can go to warbyparker.com/Jen. I started my YouTube channel in this capacity, the kind of videos that I do now. I think it was early 2018. So it's been a good 4.5 years now that I've been consistently posting videos at least a couple times a week, sometimes more, on my channel. And throughout that time, you know, I have struggled on and off to sort of try and balance everything, because obviously I like sharing videos on YouTube. I also make a side income off of it, but I have a full-time job, and I've always had a full-time job, and I have no intention of ever quitting my full-time job just to do YouTube or social media. That's something that I am completely not interested in doing. I just have too much pride in what I do, and I work too hard in my career and my education to kind of let that go by the wayside. But I would say probably things started unraveling a little bit early this year. If you guys didn't know, or if you maybe missed that video, I don't know, I haven't really talked about it a whole lot on my channel, but my mom passed away very unexpectedly in December due to COVID. She was a non-believer in the seriousness of the disease. She decided not to get vaccinated. That was her choice. And so she ended up getting it, and she passed away. And I have not always had the easiest time with it. And part of that is because her and I have had a very complicated relationship over the years. And I think that some people feel like if they're not that close to their parent, that when they lose them, it won't be as hard. And I think that that's true in some ways, but I also think that it leaves you with a lot of, you know, unanswered questions, and maybe a little bit of, I wouldn't say necessarily guilt, but just sort of like an empty space for like what might have been, you know, what might have been the ideal relationship that you would have with a parent. And so since that happened, you know, I have slipped back into not exercising, some worse eating habits. I've gained about 10 pounds since that time. I'm not in the best shape physically, and also mentally. I have been in therapy off and on, and I think that once my job picked back up in the spring in terms of being demanding for having to travel a lot, that's when everything sort of started compounding, and I began to just feel like I was in this constant state of being on a hamster wheel every single day. Like every single day I would wake up, I would feel like I was sprinting to a finish line, and then never quite getting to the finish line, right? From like sun up to sundown, all day, every day, a million things on my to-do list, having to travel a lot for work, having to have, you know, a semi-demanding job, trying to keep up my marriage and take care of my kids, and, you know, clean the house and buy the groceries and take them to practices, and obviously Adam does some of this stuff too. But it's just a lot. And because of that, you know, I've really only been able to post maybe 1 video a week on YouTube, sometimes 2 videos a week. And that's just not, like, to me, that's not acceptable. I feel like I should be posting at least 2 to 3 videos a week, because I want to share with you guys and I like doing it. It's just that when you have so many priorities, there has to be something that falls to the bottom of the list, and that ends up being that. So I don't pretend to have this whole thing figured out, but I have been doing a couple of things lately that I want to share with you guys, because I know that I am not the only one out there who works full-time, has probably a side hustle or a hobby that they, like to partake in, that has kids, that has a bajillion things that they need to do in the course of a day. I think that many of us, working parents and especially working moms, are like that. There's a lot of infuriating data out there that shows that women still have to do most of the domestic labor in a home. And even if you're looking at domestic labor, there is still like the unseen mental load of just all the things that you have to keep track of, right? And so I think that especially in our society, which, I could talk about the fact that the United States doesn't have paid maternity leave. I could talk about that and how ridiculous that is until I'm blue in the face. But the reality is that even when we have two working parents, the mom ends up being the default a lot of the time, because she is probably the one that's staying home with that infant for the first, 6 to 10 weeks of life, maybe 12 weeks if you're lucky. I think I got 10 weeks with Connor. I got 6 weeks with Kira. It was terrible. It was terrible. I do not recommend it. And so, you're kind of the one that starts out taking them to all the doctor's appointments, getting them registered for daycare. And so all of this stuff, sets us up to be that primary parent who takes care of all that stuff, takes them to the doctor, takes off work, takes them to the dentist. And so that means that we don't have any sick leave, and we get passed up at work for promotions. And there's even data out there to show that mothers who are in the workplace are often just perceived as not as dedicated as working fathers are, which I think is infuriating. And I'll link some articles down below so you can read those if you really want to get pissed off. But I just wanted to share these things with you guys today, because I know a lot of you guys that watch me, a lot of you, I shouldn't say you guys, a lot of y'all that watch me are working moms too. And so, some of these things are probably resonate with you, and some of them may end up helping you too. So the first thing that I've really done is to, number one, get into therapy. I think that therapy can be beneficial for anyone. I think that it has helped me a lot in terms of trying to work through some of the complex emotions I felt and still feel, after my mom passed away. I worked with a therapist at my psychiatrist's practice for the first part of the year, and then this summer I switched over to BetterHelp, which is an online therapy service. I know that there's been some negative press about them. I'm not quite sure what it is, because I haven't read any of it or watched any of the videos, but I did talk to my psychiatrist about it, and she said that she has not heard anything negative about it. She said just make sure that when you choose a therapist that they have the proper credentials and that they're licensed and everything like that, which I did vet the person, and it has been extremely, extremely helpful. This is not sponsored. I have worked with them previously, but not for this video. I'll put my link down below if you guys want to try it out. Obviously no pressure, but I know that sometimes access to mental health care can be difficult, and the reason why I like BetterHelp is because I can really do it on my own terms. So if I'm traveling for work, or if I'm want to do it in the middle of the day on my lunch break or something like that, I can just schedule an appointment. It's super easy to do it online. You log into the portal, you meet with your therapist. You could either do video or telephone. And then there's also a spot where you can message back and forth, which I have found that super helpful. She is available to answer my messages within 24 hours if I have to ask her something. She also sends me activities and worksheets and things like that to do. So that has been super helpful. I have traveled. I was actually looking in my planner, and part of the reason why I think I reached this level of burnout was because of the amount of travel I was doing for work. And one of the things that I have been working on with her is setting boundaries in terms of that, because what I think happens to especially women who are high achieving and very dedicated to their careers and always want to be kind of seen as the go-to person is that you end up saying yes to a lot of things without really considering your own mental health or your own threshold for workload. So just this year, I have gone to Dallas. I went to Chicago, I think 4 times. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Orlando twice. Washington, D.C. 3 times. I've been to Birmingham. And then this coming month, I'm going to Colorado, Montana, Santa Ana, and then in October, going to Amarillo, Texas. So lots of things to do. And I think that it's important to know that I don't dislike traveling. That's a part of my job that I really enjoy. And so it's not necessarily that I want to get rid of that, right? I think it's like I just have to take back control and power, and just have a boundary and say, like, I'm only going to travel this many weeks out of the month, or this many days out of the month, or, you know, whatever that looks like. And so that's something that my therapist has really helped me work through. I talk a lot about work and boundaries at work, and I don't know, it's just been really helpful for me to talk to someone about that. Another thing I have invested in is group coaching, specifically for online entrepreneurs. So I'm in a group coaching program with, I think it's 5 other women who all have online businesses. I do YouTube, obviously. Hello, I'm here on YouTube. There are some women who do online courses, who have online memberships, who just do TikTok, just do blogging. But it's super helpful to have a community, I think. One of the things that we have really lost in today's society is that sort of like a village mentality. You know, they always say it like, it takes a village. Well, I mean, it really does. And even just having that time every week, you know, that 1 to 2 hour Zoom call with like-minded women who I can really talk things through with and help support me, not just in, you know, the online entrepreneurship space, but just life in general as well. I find that super valuable. I think that, you know, seeing a psychiatrist, seeing a therapist, getting coaching, getting group coaching, you know, finding a tribe of people that really understands you is something that really helps with burnout in general, because not only can those people help you set healthy boundaries, it can just kind of help you be able to commiserate with someone who really gets it. Number 2, the second thing I have done is to develop a better routine. And what I mean by that is going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time each morning, and really focusing on what I need to get done in the morning before I start work for the day. And this is something that's really hard to do if you work from home, because it's really tempting to just kind of like sleep until the last minute, roll out of bed, log onto your computer and get on with your day. But I find that I am much more productive if I get up in the morning, I get ready, I get my coffee, I have some quiet time, maybe I sit out on the porch and read or have my coffee or watch a video or whatever it is. I have had difficulty sticking to routine in the past, partly because I had to travel for work so much. And when you travel that frequently, your routine sort of goes out the window, because you're taking flights at all odd times of the day, at 4 o'clock in the morning or midnight or whatever. And it's really hard to stay with that routine. And the other thing that has helped me with that is that we got a puppy a couple months ago. And that has helped me in that puppy goes to bed at 11 p.m. and he is up at 6:30 every morning needing to go outside. Whereas our current dog, Murphy, would just sleep in the bed all day with you if you'd let him. And so that has really helped in terms of getting me back into a routine, helping me get up in the morning and get ready before work. The other thing that has helped me is just back to school time. My kids have to get on the bus at a certain time every morning for school. And so I sort of have that time where I know, okay, I get them, you know, I get up, get ready, I get them out the door, they go to school, bam, I go to work for the day. So staying in a routine, I think, is super helpful. It can be hard, but just like any habit that you're trying to form, it takes a while, and you just have to keep trying, and eventually it will be ingrained and you'll stay in your routine every day because it's comforting and it helps you be more productive and get things done. Okay, the third thing that I have implemented in terms of addressing burnout, and this is probably the hardest for me, is implementing boundaries and saying no. And I kind of talked about this when I talked about the first thing that I was doing, which was going to therapy. But a therapist can help you do this, but there's also a lot of good free information out there too, in terms of setting boundaries and making sure that you are not overcommitting. I know that's a problem that I personally have, because number one, you don't want to, miss out on anything, either personally or professionally. I personally have the most problem with this at work because, you want to be the hard worker. You want to be seen as the go-to person. You end up being the one, your strength becomes your weakness, right? Like you end up being the go-to person that gets assigned the work because they know that you will get it done because you're a high performer. But that can lead to burnout, right? And then it leads to an uneven workload. One thing that helped me like reframe this was my therapist told me that, other people need opportunities to take work on as well. Like it's a disservice to them if they're always bringing you stuff and you're always saying yes. Number one, because you're not giving other people the opportunity to do that work. But then number two, you're going to get overloaded and burned out and you're going to be ineffective in your job. And so that's something that's really helped me. And then I also do a time and productivity planning course with Megan Summerall. I'll link her down below. She has excellent planning workshops, resources, all of that kind of stuff. And one thing that she said that really resonated with me was that every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And so you really have to be careful with what you say yes to. And that really stuck with me because I just thought, yeah, I mean, if something comes out like in an email, for example, like, oh, they're looking for volunteers at, my son's school to do XYZ. I'm always the person that thinks, oh, I could do that. But then I have to sit back and think, well, if I say yes to that, what am I going to be saying no to? And that's not to say I'm trying to dissuade anyone from, volunteering for their kids' school or anything like that. That was just an example that I thought of. But that's something that has helped me a lot with boundaries. And also, you have to stick up for yourself. You are the only person that's really going to look out for you. No one else is going to look out for you as much as you can look out for yourself. And so you really do have to be protective of your time. And so that's something that's been helping me as well, is just having those clear boundaries about when to say no at work and just in my personal life as well. The fourth thing that has really helped me has been my planner. I have always been someone that has used a paper planner. I also use an Outlook calendar, and that is how Adam and I communicate in terms of appointments and things like that. For the kids, we send each other invites and then we can keep track of those on our Outlook calendars. But in terms of a paper planner, I do weekly planning every week on Sunday, which helps me map out my week. It helps me kind of see visually what I have coming up. I can write my to-do list. I don't have things coming up that are unexpected. And a lot of times I will try to do that along with Adam as well, so that we can, level set about who's doing what. And so like tonight, the reason why I'm taking Connor to soccer practice is because he's at home mowing the grass. I have zero interest in mowing the grass. So I said, that's fine. I'll throw something in the crock pot. I'll take Connor to practice. You can mow the grass. Bam, everything is done. But then in a couple of nights, I have to do something in the evening, so he'll take Connor to soccer practice. So it's important, obviously, to have, a partner that's a team player like that. That's a whole other, that's a whole other issue. But I do think that the weekly planning, and then also I do plan out my days each and every day, helps me as well. And some people might find it a little redundant, because even though I do have an Outlook calendar, I also prefer to write everything down in my paper planner as well, which is why I like the Amplify planner. It has a half hourly format, so basically I can put all my meetings on there. I have spaces for work things I need to get done, personal. I have space to journal or write notes if I need to. I love this planner. Again, I'll link their site down below. Not sponsored. They don't pay me to say this. I just freaking love, I love their planners a lot. And if you guys are interested in trying out a paper planner, I would highly recommend theirs. Okay, so the last tip, number 5, that I have is to, and this one is difficult as well, let go of the expectations that you have about being the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect employee, the perfect this, the perfect that. We've already discussed that today's demands on us as women are highly unrealistic. Highly unrealistic. I mean, we are expected to not only do all of these things for our career and our households and our kids and our marriage and our this and our that, but we're also expected to get 8 hours of sleep every night and do our skincare every night and eat right and exercise 30 minutes a day and cook organic meals for our family and make sure that we read to our kids and we are mopping our floors with non-toxic cleaner. And I mean, like the list just goes on and on and on. And I think sometimes we have unrealistic views of what people actually do in their lives because of social media. So I find taking a break from social media is often super helpful. I do have an Instagram, and I know a lot of you guys follow me over there and like my posts and things like that, but I finally had to draw the line with direct messaging on Instagram. It's just something that I can't keep up with. I can't keep up with my DMs over there. I probably have like 200, maybe 300 direct messages sitting in my inbox. It's just something that I had to let go. And does it make me feel bad that there are people like reaching out to me that I could be connecting with? Yes, I think about it every single day, but I have to prioritize, and I also have to prioritize my own mental health. And after a day at work, cooking dinner for my family, working on my YouTube channel, when I finally fall into bed at the end of the night, do I really want to check a bunch of DMs? Probably not. And that's no offense to anyone that might DM me on Instagram, but it's just a lot to keep up with. And so I have to let go of those expectations. I have to say, you know what, that's not something that I can reasonably keep up with. And so it's something that I have to let go for the time being. And along with letting go of expectations also allows you to focus on what's important, right? So I always think, like, obviously if I let go of expectations of checking my Instagram DMs, that means I'm gonna have more time to play a board game with my family after dinner. And what's important in life? Spending time with your kids or being on Instagram? Obviously spending time with your kids. And so you really do have to focus on what's important. And I think oftentimes it is an exercise in, triaging, at the risk of using a medical term. It is, it's really important, obviously, to focus on what your values are aligned with. And that's one thing that I have learned too in therapy, is that I have to decide what my important values are in life, which is my marriage, my family, my career, my whatever. I'm just spouting off examples, and then my actions and the time that I spend have to align with those values. Obviously, when I list out my values, social media is not a value of mine, right? And so is it okay to spend time on it? Sure, but is it the thing that I'm gonna prioritize in my day when I have a billion things to do? No, definitely not. So to recap, since we all love a good recap, these are the 5 things that I'm doing to address burnout that are helping me. The first thing is therapy / mental health treatment / finding a community or a coach or a group coaching program. Whatever it is that you need to find in life to get support, definitely advocate for yourself to do that. It's really, really important. The second is to get into a routine and stick to that routine as best you can. That has helped me immensely in just feeling more productive and starting my day off on a right foot, especially with my morning routine. The third one is boundaries and saying no. Again, very difficult, but it's something that we all have to do. The fourth is planning. So whether that's daily planning, weekly planning, monthly planning, regular planning, meal planning, all of that helps me. And It may sound like it's more work up front. However, it definitely helps my peace of mind when I know what's going to happen for the week. And the fifth item that is helping me with burnout is to focus on what's important and let go of those perfectionistic expectations. So I hope this video was helpful for you in some way. I wanted to share kind of what's going on and why I've been posting a lot less, but I didn't want it to just be like me, you know, blah blah blahing at the camera. I actually wanted to like offer some solutions. So let me know if you guys have any solutions to burnout. I would love to hear them in the comments below. If you just want to commiserate, if you want to say, girl, I feel you times 100, I know exactly what you're talking about, let me know. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. And that is it for today's video. I'll actually be back this week with a couple more videos, so I'll see you then. Bye.